Leapers make quite decent rifle scopes. This compact one is well built, can sustain huge recoil for a prolonged period of time, and gives quite clear picture for a miniscope. It also allows range estimating through the so-called mildot reticle, which is said to be true at maximum optical power setting. What is mildot? It is a very popular riflescope reticle, having small dots evenly spaced on each of the hairs. If you know your target dimensions, and most times you do, you can count the dots that fit into the target while observing it through the scope. Having the height of the target in both units and mildots, you may estimate the range between the scope and the target by using a very simple formula. You multiply the height of the target by 1000, then divide the value by the number of mildots. The result will be range to the target. For example, if your target is 5 cm, which equals 0.05 meters, and it fits into 1 mildot, then you multiply 0.05 by 1000, giving you 50, and divide it by 1, giving you the same 50. That means that the target is 50 meters away. Since metric system is decimalized, meaning all units relate to the common multiplier of 10, you may easily apply the simple formula in your mind by just stripping the zeros and dividing by even numbers. However, if you use imperial units, you are pretty much screwed. Imperial units are related to each other by absolutely random, uneven multipliers, making the calculations unnecessarily complicated. Given the overall poor math education in countries using imperial units, your best option is to glue the pre-calculated mildot chart to the inside of eyepiece cover, so you could always peep for a quick cheat. Anyway, I normally practice at 50 meters or roughly 55 yards, using my own targets. When I looked at the paper through this leaper's scope, the centers of these two targets were exactly 1 mildot away, meaning they should be 5 centimeters away. But they are not. They are 10 centimeters away, twice as much. I was quite set aback at the range, thinking I got a defective or counterfeit scope. However, when I got home and checked the scope manual, I noticed that Leapers introduced a 2 multiplier for the division part of the formula, thus essentially saying that 1 mildot of this particular scope equals 2 mildots over standard mildot reticle. That doesn't make it a mildot anymore, that's a proprietary reticle. When investigating the issue, I came across some Leapers scopes that have 900 to 600 multiplier instead of the 1000 one in their manual's formulas. As these scopes' power was 9 and 6 respectively, that gave me an uneasy idea. Leapers seems to have one base for most of their scopes, and they only changed the lens without calibrating the reticle mildot spacing. That means that the double mildot on my 12x power scope would be even on the 24x power scope, and that was probably the base model for this mini scope. And those scopes with 600 and 900 multipliers are probably just 10x scopes with less powerful lenses. That is exactly why Leapers is decent, but not elite scopes manufacturer. The best very power rifle scopes have the reticle in the first optical plane, meaning when you adjust the power setting, the reticle shrinks or enlarges accordingly. And for sure, none of the top level scopes have wrong mildot spacing or cloudy picture as some Leaper scopes do. Anyway, this double mildot is probably no big deal if you have only one scope, but if you have multiple rifles with mildot scopes, having to memorize the formula for each scope may be frustrating. Perhaps in this case, a laser rangefinder would be a better option.